if someone else beside you came to you and said, I want to make episode 7? Could you see that happening?
No.
No, absolutely, positively, you're really closing the door without any wiggle room whatsoever.
Right. There is no episode 7.
Hey everybody, it's Eric, and I just saw The Rise of Skywalker. Here is my couple minutes of spoiler-free review, and then we're going to get in some spoilers because there's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot to unpack. I think this is going to be the first of a few videos. The movie is 2 hours and 21 minutes. It's PG-13, directed by J.J. Abrams. You know what you're going to get here. And written by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, who gave us Justice League and Batman vs. Superman, and gave us Argo. I did like Argo. Argo's a good movie. So basically, this whole trilogy is a mess, in my opinion. Is it a dumpster fire? Yeah, I mean, this is what you get when you're Bob Iger, and George Lucas gives you his outlines, his scripts. And not only does George give you his scripts, his outlines, but he gives you Han, Luke, and Leia, and you're Bob Iger, and you just crumble it up and throw it away and say, I don't need any of that, you know, because we're going to do this. Well, this is what you get. So these stories are kind of, they're all over the place. They don't make a lot of sense in the Star Wars universe. And there's a lot of things in here that might make your head explode. If you turn your brain off and you have the lowest of expectations, you might have a good time through most of it. I enjoyed the first half of the movie. I think the ending kind of fell apart. Didn't really work for me. The middle is very good. It's emotional because it deals with the legacy characters. And Kylo Ren is very good. Adam Driver is very good. And I thought Rey did a very good job. We'll go through this, but all the actors did a good job. It's just that the story, it makes no sense. Yeah, I know Star Wars is a fantasy, but it should make sense in the world of Star Wars, and this movie doesn't, but I'm not sure any of these Disney Star Wars movies make any sense. I thought Rogue One made some sense. I like Rogue One. I will say, this movie, I liked this better than The Last Jedi, even though The Last Jedi was shot well. That was a bullcrap story that ruined Luke Skywalker. I enjoyed this movie more. I enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker more, and I liked The Rise of Skywalker more than The Force Awakens. But just a little bit more, and none of them are very good, all right? But the actors really try here. The movie looks fantastic. There's nothing here that doesn't look good. The space horses look good. The props look good. The CG is very good for the most part, without getting into some spoilers. The direction, I would say that the movie is very quick. The scenes move from one to the next. The cuts, the camera cuts are very quick, and the people talk very quick. So it's a very high-paced movie. I don't think there's any slow points in it. Yeah, there's a lot of explosions and lens flares in typical JJ fashion. Now let's talk about the dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue I did not like. A lot of it I did like. The humor is not as bad as it is in those little trailers where they fly now, they fly now, they fly now. That thing is terrible in that little mini trailer. It actually plays better in the film. I did like the dialogue between our main hero characters, the fast banter. It kind of worked here. They had a rhythm, and I did think it worked. The action. Is there good action? It's kind of like just shooting stormtroopers, and there's dog fights that aren't really better than anything we've seen before. I will say the lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo Ren, you've all seen it on the Death Star in the water. Really good scene. That was the high point of the movie. It's in the middle of the movie. And really, that 20 minutes and everything that goes with that, I liked that. I started to care about Kylo Ren. I started to care about Rey for the first time in this entire trilogy. So, yeah. What am I giving this? I don't know. I'm probably just giving this a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. I'm just going to give that to you right away. Performances, who's good? So, yeah, Rey, Daisy Ridley's really good. Adam Driver's really good. Poe, Finn, they're really good. Who else is? Rose Tico. She's kind of in it, not really. Those are the strong performances. The Emperor was the Emperor's in it. From the trailer. It's not a spoiler. I don't like the way he was handled. I think Ian McDiarmid is such a brilliant actor, and I thought what he did with that character in the original movies and in the prequels is very good. The way they did him here, you'll see, and I'll get into it in just a bit in spoiler territory. They didn't let the actor do his thing. And that's a shame. I think there's another missed opportunity there. I think this whole trilogy is missed opportunities. Again, you had Luke, Han, and Leia, and you never really put them together to, missed opportunity there to have those three together in this story. But if you're a big fan of Rey and Kylo Ren, you might be very, very happy with this movie. The music is fantastic. But there is a big theme that I expected to hear in this movie, and you don't hear it. All right. Well, that's it for non-spoiler safe stuff. We can get into some spoiler territory now. So if you don't want spoilers, get the hell out of here, because I've already talked for 5 minutes. And I'm going to go see this thing at 11 o'clock with Kennywood Craig. Can't wait for that. All right, so let's get into the spoilers. All of the leaks are true. All of them. So if you've gone on and heard leaks, they're all true. Everything. There's really no surprises. Rey is super overpowered. Here's the story here. Right away, the crawl hits you. The Emperor is back. And he has a secret fleet that's out in the Outer Rim. And here's an example of something that makes no sense. So they show you the Emperor in the beginning, and Kylo Ren meets the Emperor. There's these things they find to try to help people to go find the Emperor. That's not really important. But when the Emperor, here's my fleet, and the fleet comes out of the Earth, and they're these old Star Destroyers, it's cool visually to watch Star Destroyers come out of the Earth, and then there's 100 of them. Why are they in the Earth? How does that even work? And then why are they buried? Because the Emperor's so far away, no one knew he was there anyway, so you didn't need to bury the Star Destroyers. And they come out of the Earth. And then I was like, well, who's in these Star Destroyers? And then you find out it's these guys. These Sith troopers work for Palpatine. And not only are these guys red, but there are Death Star trooper type people, and they've got red on their helmets. And they're people. So there are normal people in this hidden Sith fleet under the Earth. What's that day-to-day like? It just boggles the mind. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, these should be like zombies or something. But no, they're just people hanging out. And they've been hanging out with the Emperor for 40 years? Anyway, they're part of the Final Order, not the First Order, the Final Order. And each Star Destroyer now has a Death Star type gun on it. So I guess his plan, the Emperor apparently announced he's back. That is not good strategy. And then they're going to go around blow up every planet. It's kind of Spaceballs-ish sometimes. But we find, so that's going on. So everybody's trying to find the Emperor. And then Kylo Ren and Rey, they fight. At some point, Rey finds out she's the daughter of Emperor Palpatine. So I guess the plan is the Emperor wants Rey to come back to his throne, his planet on Exegol. And so if Rey kills the Emperor's essence can go in Rey, and the Emperor will live in Rey, and we'll have Empress Palpatine, because Rey is a relative of the Emperor. And apparently, the Emperor's had an assassin that was going to go out and kidnap Rey when she was a little girl. That's the flashback scene in The Force Awakens. And bring her to him. All of this seems very contrived and made up all of a sudden. So anyway, Rey finds out in the middle of the movie that she's a Palpatine. And that's somewhere. And then we get to that fight on the Death Star with the water. That was really cool. And one of the things, they have a lot of new Force powers too. These Jedi. They can take, even though they're not in the same room or the same vicinity, they can take something off each other with that Force connect, because Rey and Kylo have that bond. That's going to come into play at the end of the movie. But For me, the one of the best parts were when they fight on top of that Death Star with the water, and Rey actually kills Kylo, stabs him. But then Rey heals Kylo because Rey is perfect, and that's one of the awkward things. Daisy really did a good job, but Rey is so perfect. Even though she stabs Kylo, she heals Kylo because the Jedi can heal now. It's another power they have. All these new powers. And then Kylo sees Han Solo. This is a really good scene, though. So that fight was really good between Rey and Kylo Ren. Really good fight. And when that fight is going on, how Rey can beat Kylo Ren is that Princess Leia dies. Now, let me get to this. Princess Leia, what they did with Carrie Fisher was fantastic in this movie. She is one of the standouts. They have a lot more footage than I thought. I really liked how they used the footage. Princess Leia is training Rey. Princess Leia is making comments to the rebels. They make sense. I think she's better here than she was in the last two movies. But anyway, as Leia is dying, she dies because in one last ditch attempt, she reaches out to touch, mentally say Ben, reach out to Ben. And Kylo Ren pauses, and then Rey can stab Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's there. And then Rey, because Rey is perfect, heals Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren all of a sudden, it becomes Ben Solo. I think Rey at one point says, when you asked me to take your hand, I wouldn't take Kylo Ren's hand, but I wanted to take Ben Solo's hand. And so Ben feels all sappy. And actually, Ben sees Han Solo. Han Solo comes to Ben, and they say it's a memory, but he's just right there. And they have a banter. They have a dialogue that's very similar to The Force Awakens. I think Kylo says, there's something I need to do. I need help. I don't know if I can do it. I think Han says something like, I'll help you. And Kylo Ren throws this sword away. So then Kylo Ren turns good. And then they both head toward the Emperor. Meanwhile, the rebels are getting all ready to get a fleet and take on the Sith fleet, which is just old Star Destroyers. That battle at the end isn't that exciting. But really, Rey will go to the Emperor. Kylo will be right behind her. And the rebels are going to attack the fleet. They're going to take out a radar dish, but it doesn't matter because one of the other Star Destroyers has a radar dish, and it doesn't really matter. And then they're outnumbered. But then Orlando comes with all these ships, and they fight. I think Wedge Antilles is in the fight, though. Since this is the spoiler section, I'm giving you spoilers. I think it was him. That was pretty good. All right, so the last fight. So I like the beginning. I like the hunt for these little things they'll tell everybody where the Emperor is hiding. I liked all that. I liked the middle with the reveal that Rey is a Palpatine. And I liked their fight. And I liked Kylo Ren's emotional scenes with his father and Leia dying. Really worked for me. I started to get a little teary-eyed. It was working. I'm like, you son of a bitches, you got me, all right? This movie is dumb, an abomination, but you're kind of making me care about these characters. Then you get to the end and the movie falls apart. So Rey walks in and the Emperor basically says, listen, Emperor, you can be the Empress Palpatine. And it's weird. There's this, the Sith planet is not, it's got scary music and it's dark, and it's got the scary Sith music, but it's got lightning, but nothing cool. Oh, by the way, Snoke. So the Emperor says, I made Snoke. I am Snoke. And there's Snoke clones. Again, it doesn't make any sense. If you think that through, how does that make any sense? Because didn't Snoke want Kylo Ren to kill Rey? And he looked pretty serious about it. And then he was tricked. But if he's just a clone of the Emperor and the Emperor wanted Rey, think that through. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the Emperor's telling Rey his plan. You're going to kill me to save your friends because your friends are losing up there. And then when you kill me, my essence is going to go into you. And then I will rule in you, but you will rule and we will kind of rule. I'll be reborn. The Sith will be reborn. So why would Rey kill the Emperor so the Emperor can go into her? And then I guess it didn't make a lot of sense. And now the Emperor is like the Emperor, but he's sort of messed up. He has missing fingers, and his eyes are white, and he's always hiding in the dark. It's very dark unless there's lightning, and you can't really tell. Ian McDiarmid can't do much with that other than use a creepy voice. So he's really underused. I don't know. So then Kylo Ren shows up. He fights the Knights of Ren. Knights of Ren are underused too, but he does fight the Knights of Ren. Oh, let's talk about that. So Rey is there. Luke Skywalker is in this, but as a ghost for just a couple minutes, and it's actually kind of dumb. And he makes a joke about throwing lightsabers away. That joke did not work for me. But he gave Rey Leia's lightsaber. So Rey goes to fight Palpatine with Luke's lightsaber and Rey's lightsaber. 2 lightsabers. How convenient. Because Kylo Ren's going to show up without his lightsaber because he threw his red one away. So as Kylo Ren's like back there getting his ass beat by the Knights of Ren, and Rey's like, I will strike you down, Emperor. And the Emperor's like, oh, yes, give it to me, yes. Rey's actually tricking him and can make this saber disappear and go to Kylo Ren's hand like teleport, like Star Trek. And so Kylo Ren, oh, I got a lightsaber, man. And the Knights of Ren are like, oh. And I think Kylo actually does like a, yeah, come get some. There's some weird stuff in this movie. And so he kills all them. So now we have Rey and Kylo, or Ben Solo, and Rey and the Emperor. And so what does the Emperor do? He's like, I'm sucking out your life force. And he sucks out some of their life force and they fall. And then the Emperor starts to get rebuilt to show his fingers. And then his eyes do get from white to like reddish. And I think that he has like a nice red shirt all of a sudden. I'm not sure what's up with that. And yeah. And then they get back up to fight him. And then the Emperor just goes boom, and he sends. Oh, he goes. The sky. Something about the Skywalkers threw me down a shaft. I'm gonna throw a Skywalker down a shaft. And with the Force, he throws Kylo Ren down a cliff, and Kylo Ren disappears. And then there's Rey, and then Rey's on the ground, but Rey starts to hear voices. Oh, she's looking up at the sky, and it's a cool scene of like lightning and ships falling because the Emperor lightning all the ships and they're falling and it's beautiful, and she's just like thinking, and the voices start to speak to her of all the Jedi, because she is all of the Jedi and the Emperor is all of the Sith, he says. So we have like Anakin and Yoda and Ahsoka and Qui-Gon and Mace Windu. Did I say Anakin? His voice. Vader. No, I don't know about Vader. They should have shown these people, Obi-Wan, but instead they're voices, and you have to like sit there in the theater and actually go, I think that was Yoda. Oh, I think that was Qui-Gon. Oh, I think it was Mace Windu. And there might even be other ones that I'm missing. Like, hell, it could be Aunt Beru for all I know. I don't know. They should have had the real people there. But so she hears all these voices, and she gets up. And, says, I am all of the Jedi. And so it's her, and then Palpatine sends lightning, and she blocks it with her one sword, and they're kind of at a stalemate. And then at some point, and I'm not exactly sure how this happens, but she gets the second lightsaber. I think, is it because Ben Solo climbs out of the cliff there, climbs out of the hole, and like somehow can get her the second lightsaber back. And so Rey can make a crisscross. And then for some reason, this crisscross move makes no sense in Star Wars, but this crisscross move can send the lightning back on the Emperor. And then the Emperor just starts going, evaporates, and that's the end of it. She wins. And you're like, why? How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. And then somehow Rey is dead. I mean, she looked good, and then she collapses. And then Kylo Ren holds her lovingly, and then I guess, sends his life force into her, and then she wakes up, and then she kisses. We got Reylo action. This is The Rise of Skywalker, a Reylo story. Rey kisses Ben, and then Ben dies because I guess he gave his life force into her. No one explains any of this. You just sort of have to make this up. Yeah, explain it to yourself. And then that's it. So Ben Solo died being a hero, I guess. Healing Rey. I guess he didn't have to heal Rey. Why did he have to heal Rey? I guess Rey healed him earlier and showed him kindness and love. Okay. Maybe that's why. So, yeah, Rey's alive. The Emperor's dead. As soon as the Emperor dies, I hate when they do this in movies. Like, his temple crumbles. There were all these people, these evil Sith people. But when the Emperor dies, the temple crumbles. The fleet crumbles. Why? It's just theatrically, the symbolism, the visuals, but it makes no sense. And then everybody wins. And then there's like Ewoks in the Cloud City, which I think some people laughed. I don't know. I heard laughing. Wicked's in it. It's pretty cool. And that's it. There's music. And then Rey has the lightsabers of Luke and Leia, goes back to Tatooine, the Lars homestead, buries the lightsabers with the Force. Again, another example. She's way too powerful in this movie. Rey can shoot lightning in the middle of this movie. I didn't even get to that part. In the middle of the movie, she uses lightning and almost kills Chewbacca. That's the start of her thinking there's more to her and that she might be a Palpatine. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But yeah, she can bury the lightsabers just with her mind, like the sabers going to the earth. It's kind of dumb. Like, just dig a hole and bury the lightsabers. So there's a lot of stupid stuff in this movie. She buries the sabers. BB-8's with her, which doesn't make a lot of sense either, because is BB-8 her droid? It's really Poe's droid, no? And there's two sons, and Rey and BB-8, and a lady says, "Who are you?" "I'm Rey." And then I think the lady goes, "Rey who?" And she looks and she sees a Force ghost of Leia and Luke, and says, "I'm Rey Skywalker." And then the Rise of Skywalker. They had me caring about Rey and Kylo Ren in the middle. They got me. I thought the ending with the Emperor wasn't used right. He looked weird. I don't know if I want his action figure. The Knights of Ren went out like punks. There wasn't much here. Zori Bliss, like, I kind of liked her. She doesn't take her helmet off, but her visor goes down and you see her eyes. So, yeah, Poe's better in the movie. Poe's good. I mean, a bargain bin Han Solo good. Same with Finn. I mean, everyone here tries. They're trying. My girl Rose, Rose was looking good as always, but they didn't give Rose much to do. This movie a lot of the time does something and then has to explain it. It's one of the kinks in this movie. They'll show you something and then Maz Kanata has to say, "Oh, this is something." And you're like, "Okay, I know what just happened." You don't have to explain it to me. And there's a lot of time where non-Jedis can like feel the Force. Like when Rey died the first time, like they cut to Finn and Finn's like, oh, like you can see he felt something, and Maz Kanata felt something. They're not Jedi. They shouldn't be feeling anything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to look here. Dio, that little robot. Yeah, I like Dio. Dio's cool. Poe has the line in the movie when he tells 3PO, "Move your metal ass." That was pretty cool. There's swearing in this movie. 3PO is good. 3PO's a lot more in this movie than the last two by far. This is a lot of 3PO, and for the most part, he was really good. One of the cringy things. So there's this Sith dagger. They need to get the dagger to find out where another device is that would know where the Emperor is. So you need a device to get a device to know where the Emperor is. And one of these things is like a dagger. And you get the dagger and you got to read the language on it. Only 3PO can read it, but he can't read it because he needs his mind altered with, because it's restricted Sith language. That's a whole thing where 3PO's eyes turn red. Anyway, they get to the Death Star and they still have the dagger. They already read the language. And then there's this thing that comes out, and I'm like, oh, please don't do this. This is so Indiana Jones. This is not Star Wars. And there's like a little jaggedy line, and then they show the Death Star with its jaggedy lines in the water on the moon of Endor. And then they go, oh, they're doing exactly. I think they did this in Aquaman, where they hold the dagger up, and oh, look, it's the exact outline of the smashed Death Star. And then she's like, oh, it's right here. That's where I got to go to get the next thing I got to find, the next MacGuffin. And that was kind of cringy. I'm like, oh, come on. Who leaves these wayfinders and these Sith daggers everywhere? Dark Ray is a Force vision. Not much to that. Chewbacca's good. Like I said, Luke looks weird. He doesn't look good at all. I'm probably going to do a big video where I go over all of this. I took lovely notes on this special movie. Should you see it? Did you like the last two? If you liked the last two, you're going to like this movie. And again, I think this is slightly better than the last two, but they're really all just made up. They're all made up Disney, J.J. Abrams, Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy nonsense. I just think it's terrible that George Lucas, he sold Star Wars for like $4 billion to Disney. He probably had a gentleman's agreement with Bob Iger that, listen, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to be like the guru. I'm going to throw a general outline your way because this is my Star Wars is in his head. The Force is in his head. So I'm going to give you an outline of where I see things going, and then you can fill in the blanks and have JJ direct. That would have been great. But Bob Iger didn't care. Didn't care what the creator of Star Wars had in his head. That blows my mind. Oh, what a mistake. And then you had those legacy characters and you just pissed all over Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, and you kind of piss all over Luke Skywalker here because Rey is the ultimate chosen one, I guess. She's the lightest of the light, not very dark. She's a Palpatine, but she's the lightest Jedi. That doesn't make any sense either. Is there an explanation for that? Also, a lot of the visions that we had in The Force Awakens, they're not really explained here. Where Maz Kanata found the Luke Skywalker lightsaber? That's not explained. Snoke's explained. He's a clone. I don't know. It's a mess. It's a big missed opportunity. If you go into this thinking it's fan fiction and just turning your brain off and enjoying some very, very dumb fun, and the characters are likable, and I think you'll have a okay time at the movies. But this is unacceptable for Star Wars. Star Wars is a lot better. The Mandalorian, thank God, is good, and hopefully the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus will be good as well. All right, well, that's enough for now. I got to go join Kennywood Craig for my second viewing. Please leave a comment. Are you going to go see The Rise of Skywalker? If you see it, tell me what you think. Hitting the like button would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here, please subscribe because I'm always tackling pop culture all the time on my channel, and we'd love to have you as part of our growing community, okay? Well, we're going to have George Lucas give us some words of wisdom at the end of this video, but with that, as always, good night, and I will see you on the new.
You have to put it behind you, and it's a very, very, very hard thing to do. But you have to just cut it off and say, okay, end the ball game. I got to move on. And everything in your body says, don't, you can't. These are my kids. I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and okay, but I mean,